expecting some new developments this weekend, but some of them have failed quality control. Make sure you indicate what you'd like redeveloped via the workstation.
Welcome back to my F1 2018 career mode, and that's not what we want to hear as we head into China. All of our upgrades have failed on the car, apart from one reliability one. That is not what we want heading into a racetrack where top speed is needed. We have top speed upgrades coming, and they failed us. Chris, Carl, whatever his name is, I forgot, sorry Chris or Carl, but he's failed to bring us the parts. We may be well ahead on power already, but we're now going to have to spend even more resource points making sure this does not happen again, as we're about to head into our roundup of practice. But that's not the ideal start to the weekend at China.
This weekend sees us arrive in Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. First up is today's practice session. Now then, Anthony Davidson, there's been a lot of talk over the last few weeks about track limits. How much is too much when you're cutting corners and running wide? What are your thoughts on this? And do you think we'll be seeing drivers pushing those limits this weekend?
Well, I'd be disappointed if we didn't, frankly. If race control want to clamp down on drivers wandering off the track, then it's up to them to police it. As a driver, you're being paid to get your car around the circuit as quickly as possible, don't forget. So if you're not pushing those limits, if you're ignoring the advantageous line, then you're not doing your job properly. Now, I agree that, we have these white lines there for a reason, and we do want to see those limits enforced, but for me, it's not a driver's responsibility to do that.
The first practice programme, as I decided to do, doing the track classification programme, firstly, and to go fully purple on that Slambill 50, 75 points, can't remember the exact number. We then head on to the Iowa programme, I think we did next, but screen's very small, sorry, can't read it quite properly. We go purple on it nonetheless, and there we go, that was the Iowa programme, very well done. As then we head on to the race pace, I want to say this is race pace programme, and we do go purple on it, just to say, we've got purple. Again, we're going to come across line, we had a lot of traffic at the end of this lap, but we do well go purple right there, right now.
Great data. Stay focused.
As the DRS has randomly failed, so that's something to look into on the R&D section of things, as we will be onto the ERS management, and we are going to go, I think, purple. Yep, we just go purple by the skin of our teeth there. As we now move on to the fuel saving programme, I think we demolish that bollard there, and that's not the fuel saving programme, is it? Qualifying programme, I think. But I think we've done them all there. Let's go to the end of practice and to the interviews.
Great work out there today. How do you think it went?
Pretty good practice session.
You really went all out in practice today. Are you testing new components?
Well, we're meant to be, but Carl let us down there and failed us.
It's the start of the season. How do you think things are going to go for you?
Things are going pretty well at the moment. They're going to go better. As Claire, just, I'm taking my time with these answers just to annoy Claire.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Claire. To come back to the paddock now, collecting our resource points for that specific session. I only did one practice session, so I was good and get them all done in one. So racking up to 970 resource points, and it's all going pretty well. As we look at what we got, our team represents reputation there, amazing English there over Racing Llama. As we're just looking at our ratings there, as it is now time to head into qualifying, and put this time we're on pole.
We'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question's going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined, and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
Garage, about to head out onto our first qualifying lap of the session. Aim to get into Q2. Don't expect to go any higher than about P14, P15. So onto our first lap of the session now, and just going to push this out, but as far as I can, I'm going to try and go for 3 runs in the session. Excuse me there, as obviously running wide into turn 1. Got to keep it tight around this and gain as much time as you can. This is, in my opinion, one of the worst tracks on the calendar, but that is just my opinion. As we come through the end of the lap now, coming through the last quarter, we've already knocked out that ball on, coming across the DRS line, opening it, going across to go P4. Obviously, no one else has raced that time yet, so just got to wait to see how things pan out later on in the session. Let's go back to the garage once again, just switcherooing my tyres for a new set of purple ultra soft tyres, doing a little more speed up on the timing there, as we're going to go out for hopefully 2 more runs, come out for our second run of the session now. Open the DRS, into turn 1 we go, as fast as you can, put the DRS open, low downforce, if you want, I mean I'll just get default setup, but already much better through turn 1 than we were before, but we've got a bit deep there, we lost all that time, but we did just gain, keeping it tight through the snail section, I believe it's called the snail section, onto the power now, and this isn't a very good lap so far. We're already quite far a bit down, I think that's 3 tenths, 4 tenths down already. That's going to be struggle to find. I mean, we're at P15 at the moment. If it finishes like this, we will be in Q2. So I decided to abort that lap at the end of today because it was going to be a waste of tyres. I mean, if I get into Q2, sorry, I need a fresher set of tyres to use as we're going to come out for our last qualifying lap of the session now. I'm going to leave you to ride on board alone for this one without me rambling over it. I'll see you at the end. Qualifying lap, we are very slightly up on it. We don't get the best exit onto the main straight, and we just about improve. Has it got us into Q2 though? Yeah, whoa! We are up in P12. That will definitely get us up into Q2. And Mr. Sauber looking a bit more competitive than it has in the last race, at least. Got lucky at Australia, but things are going well as we go on to our lap in Q2. We decide to go right on. At the end of qualifying, we only have 1 set of tyres, which were really usable. I'm not expecting to get into Q3 here, as this has already been a pretty bad lap with the used tyres. But P15, P14, that's round about where I'd expect to put this mediocre Sauber at the moment. It's come to the end of the lap on the back straight now. Maxi gap out is about 206 miles an hour. Obviously we need extra downforce for a track like this, but we're like Monza. 220 miles an hour should be where possible top speed. Going through the last corner, avoiding the bollard there, which is always good, saves a tiny bit of time. Come across the line, and that lap will put us up into P13. A great lap. Kevin Sauber up into P13. Great stuff. We've out-qualified Romain Grosjean and I believe Sergio Perez, if I remember. Yep, Sergio Perez. Two much faster cars. We have out-qualified them. And that is pretty good going. As we come back to the hospitality units, getting a well done from whatever our manager is called. But it's time to head into the race.
Ever since the Sauber of Felipe Massa passed Jenson Button into turn 1 at the very first Chinese Grand Prix in 2004, Shanghai has consistently provided close racing and extraordinary memories. It's where Lewis Hamilton effectively lost the title in his rookie year, and it's where Nico Rosberg claimed Mercedes' first win of the modern era in 2012. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1 and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Daniel Ricciardo. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
So, sitting on the grid now for the Chinese Grand Prix. I don't know what to expect going into this race. Our qualifying pace seemed pretty strong. Well, it's been strong in recent races. We came home with points last time else, so who knows? No, we didn't come home with points last time else. We did not. We absolutely binned it and it went awful. I recommend you go check that race out. It's pretty entertaining, if I do say so myself, as we set off for the formation lap of the Chinese Grand Prix.
Right, let's get the car up to temperature.
Jeff just giving us the obvious, get the car up to temperature, because that's a bit obvious, isn't it, Jeff? We know we need to get the car up to temperature. The whole point of the formation lap. Right, there we go. That is the formation lap done, as we now head towards the nice English over llama, towards the end of the formation lap. Coming up to the grid now, the AI take over, because they don't trust us parking the car in a specific grid spot, because, you know, why not give the player control of parking the car in the grid spot. But oh well, we don't get that source of control in the game, so just waiting for the rest of the cars to fail into position. Obviously this is a basic one-stop strategy, as this is in most of the tracks, but we're going to go to 5 red lights and China, and it's lights out, and away we go. We get off to a pretty mediocre start as we get the power down as quick as we can. We've got a McLaren, Toro, Honda, whatever it is, on our inside. We're going to try and go around the outside of absolutely everyone, as this is my personal favourite line. Going around China, turn 1, I go to the outside, swoosh it around as we lock up, get pushed onto the grass by Carlos Sainz, and that has not done us any good, making contact with the Spaniard right at the start, and let's hope none of that happens in the rest of the race. We don't want any more contact, as we're going to brake very late to catch up to Carlos Sainz, as we now have the car on our inside, as we get an extremely shaky exit of the corner there. Romain Grosjean, we make contact with the Frenchman, and we get quite a bit sideways there, but I think he is going to get the move done on us, and he does in fact get past us. There is not a lot we could have done there. The Haas, clearly the faster car, a lot faster than us in our Sauber, as we have now got Sergio Perez right behind us, and he's going to dive it down the inside, which now becomes the outside, where we have the advantage on the inside, as we now just pull away from the Mexican, as the car really struggling to turn in. The air upgrades, obviously they failed for this weekend, as we head onto lap 3 now, heading onto lap 4. We're going to make a double overtake into turn 1, if it all goes to plan, if we keep it clean. down the inside of Haas driver we go. I can't quite see his name. Down the inside of Esteban Ocon we go. And Haas is how you overtake someone. Into turn 1 now, thinking about strategy. My plan is to pit slightly earlier than everyone else. Get the undercuts so we can get onto the gravel road. Get a massive kick of oversteer, understeer, tank slap, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to have to throw it down the inside. Jeff warning us that the engine is a bit on the worn side and power output will be down. But my plan is pit early so we can undercut everyone and fight back, as we're going to go down the inside of Esteban Ocon. What a move! We have just pulled off on the Frenchman, as we just struggle with the gear shifting there, as we head onto the straight on lap 4, and we're struggling for straight line speed. We've had to pal the aero on, so we can actually turn in for corners, and that just kills our straight line speed, which is great. As we're going to go into the braking zone, we're just going to dive down the inside of the loss of him. I think we are, no, it's lap 4, we're not putting this lap, of course, as we make a loss of contact with Esteban Ocon there. We're going to dive into the inside, see what we can do, cut the corner, get the move done. I don't care if Charlie Whiting thinks that is an illegal move. I don't care, Mr. Whiting. As we head onto lap 8 now, I think this is in fact the lap we are pissing, if my memory is working, at Romain Grosjean. Just absolutely storming past us on the straight. Absolutely nothing we could do there, as we get a pretty bad exit, as I might have edited a flashback up there. We'll gloss over that later. And no, we're not. When do I actually pit in this race? I can't remember. As we come onto the straights now, and this is why a lot of cars have pitted, and this now puts us up into P3. Mental stuff in the Sauber. We are up in P3, fighting for P2 with Romain Grosjean. We eke up into P2. Kimi Raikkonen leading the race from Romain Grosjean at the moment, and us in P3. We get the cut back done to perfection on Romain Grosjean. Not quite perfection because we're still behind him, but we're going to go for the move. Esteban Ocon looking for a way fast behind us, as well as kicking off at the lap 7 of the race, as the tyres are looking pretty worn. We move into P2 in the Chinese Grand Prix. Obviously we are yet to pit for our medium tyres. I think we are pitting on the next lap to try and get the undercuts on the drivers around us. We pit early, we go try and pull out the gap on fresh tyres. We go down the inside on the end of lap 7 of Romain Grosjean. That does not in fact go to plan whatsoever. So now have Esteban Ocon. We're going to have to weave through the pair of them to get into the pit, and that comes very close to smashing Grosjean's rear tyre as we bang our rear tyre against the pit entrance wall, as we finally slow down for the marker. Into the pits we go, EIO, for on lap 8 for a fresh set of medium compound tyres. Sauber pit crew waiting right at the end, because obviously Sauber were the slowest team back in 2017. As the new tyres get put on the car, we exit the pit lane now, and the race is looking good. Charles Leclerc, he pitted earlier on, we are behind him, so the undercut clearly works well for him, as he pitted and he is now ahead of us. So undercut clearly powerful around the Sepang circus. This is Sepang, isn't it? Or is that? No. Yep, Sepang circus. As we move on to lap 8 now, we have Charles Leclerc ahead, and there is an almighty traffic jam going on up here. A humongous train. I don't know who is the lead of this train. I think it is the Hulkenberg train. As we are going side by side with our teammate, we're going to have to go the long way around. Charles putting up a good fight here, proving that he may not have scored points, but he is just as good as us. He has not had the luck that we have had in the races so far, as we're coming into turn 1 now. Just gaining slowly on this huge pack. We're actually just going to chuck it down the inside, because why not? Round the outside of Charles Leclerc we go. We get a run on Stoffel Van Dorn. Not quite enough, as he sort of just parks it in the middle of the track, and we just hit his rear tyre there. No damage done, so oh well. We're going to hopefully, in my head, we dived down the inside there. Massive lock up from Max Verstappen, and are we going to get the move done on the Dutchman? He gets the much better exit in the much better car, which is obviously how it's going to end up, with him in a Red Bull, me in a Alfa Romeo powered Sauber, in inverted commas, Alfa Romeo. So we're just going to go down the inside on lap 10. My eyes aren't working, we're on lap 10, not lap 18. We're going to go down the inside of the Red Bull. Are we actually going to overtake a Red Bull in a Sauber? That would be phenomenal if it actually happens. On to the DRS straight we go. DRS open. Are we going to overtake a Red Bull in a Sauber. It doesn't look like it unless we're just going to dive it down inside. There's yellow flags ahead, so no overtaking is actually going to happen. And that is because Nico Hulkenberg has retired from the race with some form of engine issue. He's just parked it in the wall there. So we get the move done on absolutely no one. I'm seeing things at the moment. What was I all about? So what move have we just got done? As we move on to lap 11 now, Sergio Perez right ahead of us. Again, we are still behind him after he pissed. So, well, no, actually, we're a lot closer to Perez, I think. If I can't quite remember where we were in comparison, but we were around about Perez, so we don't seem to have lost anything. We're going to go down the inside here. It's a very good line if you just stay close to the inside curb. The AI, they go wide. You get the move done. No contact made. It's going well for us at the moment. We are fighting our way back up into the points. We shall be very shortly. Let's move on to lap 11 now. No, the end of lap 14. Lap 14, we're on lap 14. We've just made a move on Kevin Magnussen to get us back into the points. I need a new laptop because I can't see a thing what is going on as Magnussen pulls off into the pit lane. And we are now on to lap 15 of 29. We're up into P9. It's looking good for points at the moment, but anything can happen. This is Formula 1 as we now have Daniel Ricciardo storming past us into the hairpin. We've got the inside line. We're going to keep it clean. We're going to not get past Daniel Ricciardo because he's in a Red Bull. And not a lot we can do about that. And I thought he was going into the pits for a second. So that was a bit misleading from Daniel Ricciardo as we head onto the DRS straight. Absolutely nothing we can do. Unless we're just going to dive down inside and do a trademark llama move. Keep it tight to the inside of the track. Cut back in the second point. And we're just not close enough to consider going for a move. As we head onto lap 20 now. Carlos Sainz storming past on fresher tyres on the straight. The Renault engine clearly doing well in our career mode as we dive it down inside. Just about avoid smashing into the Frenchman. Spaniards side pod going side by side. We're going to try to cut back. We hiss his rear wing as we open DRS. We're going to come into turn 1 now. What could possibly go wrong? We pulled it outside, fake to the inside. Down the inside, we're going to go keep it close. Oh, we made contact with the Spaniard. We dived it down the inside that bit too late. We have smashed Carlos Sainz off the track. He must have wing damage from that. Have we got any damage from that? I don't know, but Verstappen is right behind us and that is not ideal. We have smashed into the side. Jeff confirming we have got wing damage to the car. That is not what we want. Max Verstappen, he is surely going to get past as we are up into the heights of P9 at the moment. It's probably going to come P10 as Verstappen has surely got the pace advantage over us at the moment. So as we now head on to lap 20, the final lap of the race, sorry, we have Kevin Magnussen in front of us out of nowhere. He just appeared there. And so we're going to go down inside. Kimi Raikkonen wins the race. We move back up into P9 as Magnussen must have been further ahead and struggling on all the tyres. But talking about tyres, are in appalling condition. Hopefully we can hold off Magnussen and keep hold of P9 for the rest of the race. We head onto the end of the lap now. Onto the main straight. Magnussen is on our inside. Well, look, we've got enough airs. We haven't got enough fuel to really push the car to its maximum limit. But in the we haven't got DRS as well, so we're just going to have to rely on pure slipstream. But Magnussen with the DRS, he is pulling away on the straight. There is not a lot we can do. We're just going to have to defend from Stoffel Van Dorn as we need to hold on to this P10 to bring some points home for the Sauber Alfa Romeo team so we can get some upgrades on this car and fight towards the front of the grid. We come across the final corner. We're going to come up to the checkered flag. We are going to score our second haul of points in our career mode. That is phenomenal. Jeff doesn't seem as pleased with P10, but I am over the moon with P10. That is absolutely amazing.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs. And that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
So looking at the results of the race now, it's a great result for Kimi Raikkonen as Crofty says he extends his lead at the championship. And, well, it was a great race. Charles Leclerc, again, just not quite performing when it matters. He finished P13, and we come home in the points a mile off the lead, almost a lap down. But that was that from the race. We found ourselves down in P9 in the championship, and Sauber in P7, which is pretty respectable, as we're now going to head into our driver interviews.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
It was pretty good.
You're breaking all expectations.
We are definitely breaking all expectations here.
You had a few bumps.
We
and scrapes
did have
today.
a few
Who would you say is at
bumps.
fault?
And I think it was Charles. It was his fault.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Claire, as we just go get ourselves weighed on that weighbridge now. We're going to head back to the end of the paddock. Our comparisons with our teammates, we are obviously absolutely dominating it at the moment. As Charles, he needs a good result as we head into Baku. Hopefully the new car package, which will arrive for the next race, will give us a big improvement on the very power sensitive track. But you also need aero for a tight twisty bit, as we only got 229 resource points from that session. Boosted off to 1200 resource points as, well, our reputation with Sauber. Renault has just gone down the drain after we took one of our drivers out.
Exactly the kind of result I'm looking for.
Thank
Keep it
you,
up.
agent.
We've
I
received
forgot your name.
invitations to new
But
historic
that
events.
is the end
You'll be
of
able
this
to choose
episode.
whether or
We're
not
just going to look
participate
through
before the end of
maybe
this
some engine
event.
changes in the next couple of races. But thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out my other videos, especially my career mode. It is fantastic, as you have just seen. But thank you for watching, and goodbye.